Hi everyone, welcome back and thanks for joining me today. This is Jana with Purple Girl Crafts. Today we're going to make this tri-fold card. Now this card requires no die cuts. It reveals a message on the inside. It does stand for display, and when you close it, it will fold back up on itself. You just line up the lines and then it'll fold right directly into itself and lay flat for shipping. And then you can write your message on the back of the card. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing we're going to need is our scoreboard. So the first piece that we're going to need is the base of the card. And this piece is going to be 11 by 5 1/4. And now this is my pattern paper, but for scoring it, I'm going to turn it back over so it's easier to see. And we're going to score this at 1 3/4, 3 1/2, 7 1/2, and 9 1/4. And then when we're done, we will fold this together, and you'll see that it does not meet in the middle, but there's a reason, and I'll show you that. So that is for the base of the card. Then we are going to need our mats for the top, and these are for the sliding piece on the front. We need 3 pieces, and these are cut at 1 3/4 by 4 inches. Then we need 3 pieces, and you can do this if you're doing the pattern paper like I have. I'm just going to lay this back out. So I cut this piece at 4 7/8 inches by 3 3/4 inches. And then I just cut this into 3 strips, which are 1 5/8 inches each. And that gives you the 3 pieces for the front of the card and keeps your pattern paper going the same direction. Next, we will need a piece of paper that is cut 3 inches square. Then we'll need 1 piece, and this is for the inside of the card, and I've already stamped this and add some embellishments to it, but this is 3 3/4 by 5 inches. Next, we will need 1 piece that is 2 3/4 inches square. And again, I've done some of the embellishments, and my little bear is going to sit on the front there, so I didn't embellish all of it. I just embellished around him, just so they would be dry when we assembled the card. So that's it for the scoreboards. We're going to remove that, and we're going to start working on the card. So again, for this, when you fold this, you're going to fold the second score mark inward, and then crease that out, and then take the first score mark and score it back on itself, and then crease that out. And then do the same thing with the other side. Score the first or the second score mark, just fold it in, crease it out, and then turn it and line up your edges and fold that first score mark in, and then crease out your lines. And this is the shape you should have, and depending on the direction of your paper is how you're going to decorate your card. So next, for the panels that go on the front, and these are the 3 pieces, the easiest way to do this is we're going to just line these up. Now they will stick over the edge just a little bit, and you're going to line up all 3 of them. So once you have them on there, the easiest way to do this so that you know that you have them even is to hold onto the second one or the middle one. Just keep that one on there. And then I'm just going to turn this over and just put just a small pencil mark just so I know where not to glue past. So I'm going to apply my glue just to that small area. And this is the only side that we're going to glue, and we're going to glue it to the right side of the card. So I'm just going to grab one of my other pieces. It doesn't matter which one because they're all 3 the same. I'm going to lay that on the top of the card because I know where it's supposed to be positioned. And then I'm going to lay the second piece down. And it's going to be butt up right next to the first piece. And then I'm just going to push that glue down. This way you know it's in the center, you don't have to worry about it. So you can see that sticks over just a little bit. But again, I might put paper on the back of there just to give the card just a little bit of pop. So now for the next two pieces, I'm just going to line them up. And again, we're only going to glue, so I'm just going to put a slight pencil mark just where the card meets up to the edge of that fold. And then that way I know where I'm going to put my glue. And my glue is not being very friendly today. As you can see, my bottles I think is a little too full. So we're going to glue this to the left side. Again, line it up, making sure it's butt up against the first piece. And then we're going to take the last piece that we have. Just make sure that is really pushed down. You do want to make sure this is lined up with the edge of the card. Okay, so for now the last piece, we're going to grab that one. And again, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to make sure it's lined up with the edge of the other two pieces. I'm going to turn it over just so I can make a pencil mark. I'm just going to lift it just a little bit so I can see where the fold is. And I'm just going to put a pencil mark there. And that's just so that you don't get extra glue, so you don't have to clean up the glue, because you don't want it sticking to the base of the card. So again, I'm just going to butt it up against that middle piece and then just secure that down. So when this opens, this is how your card should look right now. So you're going to have the top of the bottom will be glued to the left side and the center piece will be glued to the right side. Now for the flaps, if you're using patterned paper, what I did is I'm going to keep a border on the very outside and just a little border on the middle of each. So I'm going to line the first pattern piece up so that it's got even on all three sides and it is lined up with the edge of the card on the bottom of it. So as you can see right here. So I'm going to put some glue in here so I can show you easier. So when I glue this down, I'm going to make sure that it is lined up with the bottom of this flap and then have border all the way around the other three edges evenly. And then just go ahead and just secure that down. Now for the middle piece, this one is going to be in the center of the flap that is there. You don't have to line it up to the top or the bottom. Just make it even inside that square. So I'll add glue to this piece. And then I'm making sure the direction matches the card. And we'll slide it over just a little bit, just so it's even with the design. And then for the bottom piece, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to line it up so it's even with the edge, the top of the flap, and then has the border on the three sides. If you wanted to, you could do a smaller and have the same border all the way around it. So again, I'm making sure it's even with that top edge and then securing it. You're not going to see that middle piece, the part of it anyway, so it doesn't matter if you have a border or not, because the top layer is going to cover some of this. So now I'm just creasing all that out. And then for the inside of the card, I'm just going to open it all the way up, turn the flaps outward, and then I'm going to glue this center piece that I already had an embellishment on, and this says "just because," and that's just going to be centered in the center of the card on the inside. And again, you could use tape if you wanted. I like the glue because I have room to move it around just in case I don't get it straight. So that is the middle of the card. Now for the top piece, this is going to get put in the center of the card, and it's only going to be glued to the middle flap. So I'm just going to line this up here, just get it just about even. And I'm just going to eyeball it, but it ends up being about 3/4 of an inch from each side. So now I'm just going to flip this over, and I'm just going to put 2 small pencil marks, just so I know not to put glue past those 2 marks. And as you can see, my glue is not behaving. So I did end up putting glue over this entire piece. And then I'm just going to glue this down, and I'm going to eyeball it. But if you wanted to measure it, you could make sure that you have the same amount hanging over that flap on top and bottom. So I'm just turning my card so I can see better, and I'm just going to try to get this as even as possible. And then just push that down. And then I'll use my bone folder to push that glue out. Now again, you could measure this if you wanted to make sure it's even at top and bottom. As you can see, these slide in, and those 2 pieces on the top help the flap slide in and stay closed on the card. Okay, so now that piece is done, we're going to add this top piece, and this is just going to be glued right in the center of that flap. And I already went ahead and put some glitter dots on there. I did it prior, so that it would be dry when I glue this down. And then we're going to put the bear just in the center. Now you could do pop dots and make him bigger. You could also put a wobbler on here, make him wobble on the front, which would be cute. So I'm just going to put him on the center between those dots. And then I'll use my bone folder just to push him down. That's a wrap on another card. I hope I inspired you to make this card and just have fun. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't. There'll be more fun videos coming. And until next time, happy crafting, and I'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.